Good afternoon, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Afternoon. It's afternoon for me, isn't it? Yeah, it's afternoon for everybody, really. Afternoon. Welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. A bit more professional than we were this morning because there was all sorts of stuff going on. Anyway, some fantastic news for Celtic fans this evening. Good evening to everyone in the chat as well. Afternoon, sorry, I'm all over the place today again. Afternoon to everyone in the chat. The good news is that Martin O'Neill is back at Celtic, and Martin O'Neill is making headlines around the world. I'm going to jump on some of the oh. Oh, it's a scene Hassan. Well, that's cool. There was a bit of breaking news, and I just wanted to double check what it was before I clicked on it. Anyway, the big news is that France 24 publication, they've been talking about Martin O'Neill is out of hospital after his small procedure. Even the BBC have been talking about it, BBC Sport, O'Neill out of hospital, but no timeline for return. And then the Irish Examiner also been talking about it. The Irish Examiner headline saying that Martin O'Neill is out of hospital and in good form after seeing the Sean Maloney interview, and as well as another publication, The Independent, all talking about it. But it was nice to see the France 24 and the Irish Examiner talking about Martin O'Neill and the fact that he is out of hospital and there's no timeline for his return, says Sean Maloney. Sean Maloney, before we go into about Sean Maloney, I want to talk about, because the players never get enough airtime. When you look at the player interviews from Celtic, the manager, obviously, Sean Maloney interview takes paramount. Everyone wants to know what Sean Maloney has to say. But there was an interesting interview by Austin Trusty. Austin Trusty's back after his extended World Cup. He'd only been back at Celtic training ground for a week after being thrown into the first team because Liam Scales was suspended. Trusty says he still felt physically fit and trained with the USA squad intensely throughout the tournament. He scored at the World Cup, which was an incredible moment for Austin Trusty and his family. And then there was, as the World Cup finished for him, there was a sad moment where his father was taken into hospital, so that's why he was given a little bit more time off. Some of his family were inside the stadium crying when he scored the goal. He believes that the World Cup has inspired millions of Americans to start playing football. And he joked and he said about the Scotland fans. He said he's had lots of people talk to him and message him about the drunkenness of Scotland fans in Boston and drinking the city dry. He says obviously the worst part of that tournament for him was leaving the World Cup and then his father being admitted to hospital. When he talks about his career, he says that in family situations he still hasn't processed anything from the World Cup. He hasn't had time to enjoy what he achieved in getting to the World Cup, and he said that all the players for Celtic, and it was disrespectful that the reporter that asked only named 3 players that went to the World Cup when there was far more players that went to the World Cup. He says that he's returned with greater confidence and said that he could perform on football's biggest stage. He says, "Look, we looked rusty against Dundee. We all thought we looked rusty against Dundee. It is one of those summers where there is obviously a lot of issues. A lot of teams have. Listen, when you're a big team, you're going to have all your biggest players playing in these big tournaments, because if you don't, you've not really got a great team, have you? You want a team that's littered with internationals from other countries so that they can be off representing Celtic and tell more people about Celtic when they're away, because people say, "Oh, what club do you play for?" "Oh, Celtic." And yeah, it's just the way it goes. He went on to say, he says that there's a lot more to come from the players, that are for sure. He says Cameron Carter-Vickers is back, which has strengthened the defence. He says that I played on the left. This is an interesting one, because we've been talking about Kieran Tierney. He says that he can play on the left also. He can play at left back. I played at left back in the World Cup, and you're thinking, that's interesting. But anyway, he welcomes Kilmarnock's new hybrid grass pitch, and he says it should make for a better level of football to be played by Celtic at Kilmarnock. He is a player that will want to be first choice partner with Cameron Carter-Vickers. He did talk about Dane Murray, he did talk about Liam Scales, but you could see that him being at the World Cup, he wants to be the one that partners Cameron Carter-Vickers. We'll see how long Cameron Carter-Vickers lasts throughout the season. Does his World Cup performances change supporters' views of him? Could Trusty's ability to play on the left be important for Celtic going forward in this season? Because if you've not got Liam Scales on the left, you could put Liam Scales in, and you could go to a back three. You could go to a back three with Trusty being able to play in that position as well. So you could, in theory, play. But then what do you do with Kieran Tierney? And then we need to wait to see what happens with Alistair Johnson. We'll talk about that in a minute, because Alistair Johnson is subject of a transfer, and that leads us right into the talking about Sean Maloney. Sean Maloney took the interview today, and the big news really is that Jota's back on the grass training. That was a fantastic sight to see. Now, Sean Maloney says that, look, Cameron Carter-Vickers had a full pre-season, so that's about 6 weeks. Jota's on the grass today, but he didn't partake in any contact within the game. It was just the physical stuff, the training. Celtic are going to edge him back in ever so slightly. So, with that being said, if it was 6 weeks for Cameron Carter-Vickers, everybody's getting their calendar now out, aren't they? And they're looking 6 weeks from today. When could Jota be back? Martin O'Neill did say that Jota would be back around about Build a Bonfire night. Put the Rangers on the top, put the Jampos in the middle. Build a bonfire, build a bonfire. I can't wait till that's getting sung again. It's one of the best away songs, isn't it? Anyway, it's fantastic news that Jota is back, and Jota's on the grass training. And he said that it's going to be interesting having Jota back. For us, he's like a brand new player. It's a brand new player in the squad. He gives us a different dimension compared to the other wingers that we have. Let's just say it as it is. I love wee Sean Maloney. He doesn't give a hoot, does he? One of the other things that Sean did say is that we are short on players. He said, look, for the number 9 position, he says it's fantastic. We've got some really good players in there. Notice that he put Camilo Duran in as a number 9. He obviously Casper's in at the number 9, and then you've got Callum Osmond and Johnny Kenny. Now, the Johnny Kenny situation is interesting, because I think it's going to come down whether Martin O'Neill wants to play 2 up front. And if Martin O'Neill wants to play 2 up front, if he wants to play 2 strikers this season going forward, I think Celtic will keep Johnny Kenny, because you really need 2 strikers just in case. You want to change it up in cup games and stuff and give the strikers a little bit of a rest in the early part of the season. Because remember, once we get to the 19th of August and we do get into the Champions League, we could get absolutely mullered, and we'll wait and see. But we will be playing football during the week in a European context. So, with that being said, we need a bigger squad. Sean Maloney was asked the question, is the squad good enough? Is the squad big enough? And Sean said basically what everyone else is saying. No, we're short. And that's refreshing, because Martin O'Neill hasn't came out. Now, God bless Martin O'Neill, who's lying at home tonight, and he's probably watching this going, Baz, I'm going to fucking kill you when I see you. You ever come to Parkhead, son? You're fucking getting your numbers marked. I'll be like, it's all right, Martin, I've came with a half bottle of Vody. We'll hear a couple of Vody Bovrils. I'll introduce you to the Vody Bovril at half time. You up for it, mate? He'll be like, this is a new interesting combination. Vody Bovril, you say? Maybe not at half time, but if you're free after the match, we might have one just to break the ice, as I say. Anyway, it was refreshing that Sean Maloney saying that, boom, Celtic are short in players in other positions. Now, with that being said, he expects everyone to be here this weekend. He doesn't expect anyone to leave the club this weekend. But the breaking news this afternoon is that Anthony Joseph has confirmed that Hassan has been left out of his team's squad for a pre-season match against Le Havre tomorrow. The Egyptian international 24 is subject of a £9 million bid from Celtic and is awaiting the green light for the clubs to agree the deal so he can travel for a medical. So that one's almost done and dusted. That one will probably happen over the pace of the weekend if they said the clubs are still not far from agreement, but still ironing out a few details. What is wrong with Michael Nicholson? What really is wrong with Michael Nicholson that he prolongs the deals? You know, Sean Maloney saying, yeah, look, transfer windows is never straightforward and it's never, you know, it is. Sorry, but we've been in talks with this guy for about 3 or 4 weeks. We should have had the deal done. Anyway, Mikey Boy says it's a volleyball rule is absolutely brilliant. You need to try it. It was it was a mate of mine from the football from years ago, who was known on Twitter as Saint Stictus, and Paul had introduced me to the volleyball rule, and then it was born. I think that was way back in it was during the Ronnie years anyway. It was definitely during the Ronnie years. So it was a fantastic little tipple to be had at Celtic Park and away ground, and the photographs of the quarter or the wee quarter bottle, the wee half bottle of vodka and the Bovril at the side of the pitches was hilarious at the time. Not that I'm condoning taking glass bottles into football, because that was back in the day. You kind of got away with it. You didn't get away with it. You just it was sneaky. But I don't condone it in this day and age. Just before anyone is saying, take a hip flask in. It's better. Anyway, it's good that the club are close to getting this £9 million deal done. It gives us another option. Hassan on one wing and Jota on the other. Boom, get your yang out the door and get Tenecti off the park completely. God, it's going to be a good October. We're really looking forward to see how the team progress then. Talking about the players though, obviously he said that look, whilst Martin O'Neill makes all the decisions, he was asked about players wanting to leave, and he was very diplomatic about it, and I thought he was fantastic actually. I don't want Sean Maloney as manager before anybody starts talking about that type of thing. And when the manager talks to players in his office, and the players will say, look, I think that I wouldn't mind trying. If the deal can happen, boss, I'd love to go and try and play football there. I'd love to take my game to the next level. If I'm here, I'll put in 110% promise, but I would if it happens. Sean Maloney said that, well, I wasn't part of that conversation. I don't know if Arnie Engels and Alistair Johnston have asked to leave the club. Amid speculation that they both have said that they would like to leave, Sean Maloney is saying, as far as I'm concerned, they've never said anything to me. They train hard, but I don't talk to them about transfer stuff. That's the gaffer's point. And it was good that Sean also said that all transfer business, it comes down to Martin. He may ask our advice as a recruitment department. But what I did find interesting is this modern game nonsense that the recruitment team come with a list of players and say to Martin O'Neill and the backroom staff, okay, this is the players that we think that you need. How football must have changed for Martin O'Neill, because he comes from an era where, where managers watched football, watched games, managers went to games. Managers, you always had scouts that would say that, oh, this guy's really good, and then say to the board. But the way that Sean put it is, they come with a list of players. There's your A, B, C, and D, and if you're really lucky, we'll get you somebody down on row Z. That's the way it happens. It's modern football, isn't it? But anyway, the good news is that the Egyptian international, it's going to upset a lot of fans, because I've seen quite a few people in I've seen a few people in the comments saying that Hassan had an absolutely shite World Cup. We'll wait and see. Anyway, I'm glad that Martin O'Neill is making the final decisions along with Michael Nicholson. That is basically what Sean Maloney said this afternoon. So it's absolutely fantastic news as far as we are concerned, because Martin O'Neill is out of hospital. He may be back in the training ground tomorrow. He may be at the game on Sunday. We just need to wait and see. But anyway, let's jump into some of the comments this afternoon and see what you're saying. Tell me in the comments what you think about Jota being back, and give me your little prediction on when you think he'll be back. Will he be back in September, or will it be the end of October? What do you think? Could you imagine Clough? That's Brian Clough. Yeah, exactly. Not a chance. Could you imagine the Jock Stein with this hierarchy at Celtic? That would be a laugh. Believe it when the touchdown for a medical, never before. Well, Sky's News are reporting that he's been left out of the team, and that's generally when he's left out of the team, means that the deal's going to happen this weekend. If he's left out for the team for tomorrow, he looks like he'll be travelling tomorrow for a Monday signing at Celtic. But you're right, Hoopsaholic. Believe it when they touch down for the medical. Can't wait to hear we go again. Good news, God bless Martin. Jota back for the Huns game, that would be absolutely fantastic. That would. Jota will be like a new signing, he will that. I hope we don't know the Hassan deal up. Come on the board, let's do it. Nah, it looks like it is going to happen. It's taking a little bit of a while to get done, but it looks like it will get done. I don't want anywhere near those, anywhere close to the pitch until he's 100% fighting fit. It's interesting that Sean Maloney said that the gaffer was better than he was on Monday and Tuesday. So it obviously came to this is the. I'm starting to go along the lines of Chris Sutton. I said in my original video, when the news broke that Martin O'Neill was in hospital, and I didn't want to add to the speculation, there's a lot of people saying he'd had a small heart attack. If Martin O'Neill was, well, Sean Maloney's admitted it. He spoke to him last night and he said he's a lot better than he was Monday, Tuesday, before he went into hospital. It does make you wonder how he'll cope with the season ahead, doesn't it? And I stand by the comments that I said on that video. I said that Celtic are pretty much a shambles when it comes to, you know, the pressure from fans. The pressure from fans to have another go, have another year was off the scale. You know, it was around about 90% of fans, I would have said. Really, if you said, no, Martin O'Neill shouldn't have next season, we need to bring in someone younger and fitter. My God, you were lambasted last season. You were told it was the most ridiculous thing that you'd ever said, and you think that I'd actually shot someone when I said that we should maybe go for a younger manager. But I didn't want the worst to happen for Martin O'Neill, and maybe the worst has happened, and this little scare has given us all food for thought. Jota, months at least. Well, they're saying 6 weeks. Jota's an exceptional player when he's on top form. CCV looking solid. Huns games is 6 weeks on Saturday. Is that achievable? I don't think that's achievable for Jota. It may be achievable for Martin O'Neill. Hassan's stats don't look good. I'm not looking at any stats for any player or any manager anymore, because honestly, I'm just waiting. Let's get players in. Let's see them on the pitch. If that's the players that Martin wants, Martin will either be a success with the players that he signs, or he'll be known for signing duds. And the fact that Martin O'Neill's pushed for this player, I think we'll wait and see. He'll be back in September. Was it not kidney stones? I've no idea. It was an ingrown toenail. I can see Jota flying down the wing again. Let's hope so. Jota will be back. Hopefully, like Larson, he came back a better quality player. He did that. I remember when that... I'm not caring about that one. Is anyone else missing the coffee guy on the speaker? What? Who wouldn't want Martin? Yeah, but I think when there's no use talking about the past, and you can't change it. Don't worry about Martin. He's as tough as an old cookie. Yeah. What if he's not? Maloney only added to the speculation. Do you think so? I don't think he added to the speculation. I think that he maybe shouldn't have said that Martin O'Neill wasn't looking well or didn't feel well on Monday or Tuesday. I don't think he should have said that at all. And he's obviously been rushed into hospital, taken into hospital and operated on straight away. Whatever happened with Martin... I think the big man upstairs. Yeah, I said at the time, I would have preferred Martin O'Neill to go upstairs this summer rather than him taking the dugout. I thought that would have been perfect. There's not the stress and the physical exertion that if he's upstairs, you know what I mean? So anyway, get me signed on the board. Let me know how you use the phone. Director of football job for Martin, seat on the board. How can he get a seat on the board? We'll wait and see. Baz, you were shouting at him. Well, the coffee guy this morning. Oh, yeah, him, yeah. That's yeah, the coffee guy. Yeah, the coffee guy that was driving up and down this morning. Yeah, with a loudspeaker. How are you, Baz? Massive bombshell yesterday with Hassan. I'm getting a little bit excited. He's been pulled out of the team for a friendly tomorrow, which means that he's probably travelling this weekend. Cheers. He's guided Maloney through this season to take over, I reckon. Do you think so? Do you think that Martin O'Neill? I don't think so. No, I don't think that's in the long-term plan for Celtic. I can't see Sean Maloney being the man that's going to take us to 9 in a row and 10 in a row. Oh, Jesus. Right, anyway. That's me done and dusted for this Friday evening. I'm going to go and grab, I don't know what we're having for dinner. Your tea. What are we having for our tea, love? No idea. I'll need to cook it. We've got a coffee guy at my work. I work at Iceland. He doesn't. Where is that one? He doesn't make the coffee, by the way. Oh, aye, one of those ones. My first impression of Hassan was a bad investment. I've seen other reels. Don't be looking at reels for stuff, because reels make players look shite or they make players look good. Anyway, that is me done and dusted for this evening. I shall see you first thing tomorrow morning. Have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are. It is all just good news as far as Celtic are concerned. It looks like that Martin O'Neill is on the road to recovery, well, and hopefully he gets better soon. I've no idea when he will be back, because it's up to him. I don't want Sean Maloney as manager, but we can't lose Fozzie from the first team coaching, says John. Interesting one. Let's talk about that tomorrow. Have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are. All